Why did Matt Jeneroux cross the aisle rather than resigning like he said he was going to do? Let me tell you the real analysis of the situation. Matt Jeneroux was quoted that he said that he changed his mind from resigning after he heard Mark Carney speak in Davos. And of course, we all know what that speech at Davos was, where Mark Carney basically stated to the entire globe that there is a new world order and that countries have to prepare and accept the very real reality. And that the United States was a very real threat to these countries and to our country without naming the United States directly. It's geopolitics. He's got to remain diplomatic, you know? You see, the harsh reality of the situation is our world has changed. Alliances have been broken. Priorities realigned. We are entering a period of increased competition of resources, the control of those resources, and the almighty hegemony over the global community. Because in this world, in the very real harsh reality, it's survival of the fittest. These conservative members of parliament crossed the floor and joined the Liberal Party because they chose country over party. Let me explain. They know that Canada has a very finite amount of time to prepare and secure its sovereignty from the United States. And federal conservative politicians are playing politics, legislative war, employing influencers to create division, to slow down progress of key legislation that is needed to be passed to secure our sovereignty. And they're using marketing firms, using big money and tapping into the largest untapped voter base in Canada, which is the very uninformed, angry youth and frustrated, trusting Canadians. And they're rage baiting them and manipulating them and twisting their perception of reality to distract from really what's going on around us, which is a race to secure Canadian sovereignty from the United States. Matt decided to be on the right side of history and work with the Liberals in assisting and securing our country for all Canadians. Think of this for a second. Why do you think Mark Carney has made sweeping policies with lightning speed? Why do you think he made major announcements on food security and sovereignty? Yes, those policies and moves are going to decrease the cost of groceries in the future for you and me and for every Canadian. But immediately, the immediate priority is the sovereignty of our food supply chain. Because if our food supply chain was broken, we'd be in real big trouble as a country, as a nation. Why are we creating nation-building projects such as LNG plants, such as nuclear power and mining? Because we have to fuel our independence. Why do you think Mark Carney has spent our commitment to NATO a decade in advance? He's expanding our military and he's modernizing our military. Why do you think he's involved in building the largest military complex with other like-minded countries, excluding the United States? Because we cannot be beholden and hold hostage to a foreign nation's technology. Why is he flying all over the world to make trade agreements with different countries? Because the harsh reality is 75% of our economy is tied in with the United States. So Mark Carney is trying to decouple our economy so the United States, probably in the summertime when they try to negotiate Kuzma, will try to hold our economy hostage and try to get us to do what they want us to do. But Mark Carney is way ahead of that. You see, in this new world, the United States is only looking out for the United States. It's America first, baby. The big brother that we always look to the south, is now the alpha predator. And it can take what it wants because it has one of the greatest military industrial complex in the world. While the United States is playing the alpha strategy, Mark Carney is playing the wolf pack strategy. Not only is he involved in securing and creating a whole new industrial and military complex with other like-minded countries, but he's also leading 39 other countries in a huge economic trading bloc to rival that of the United States. This coalition of 40 countries would have a larger GDP gross economic hub than that of the United States. And so globally, those 40 countries will have a significant role and influence around geopolitics. So if you're Canadian, don't let people like Mario and Pierre Poilievre divide you and fool you and twist your reality. These people are working against your best interest and your children's best interest and this country's best interest. If you think the United States will treat Canadians better, even Americans don't have the same rights as they used to. So what rights do you think you are going to have as a Canadian if the United States took control of Alberta or took control of this country? Even Americans don't have rights in their own country. So it doesn't matter whether you're a liberal, from the Green Party, NDP, it really doesn't matter. Now is the time we all band together as Canadians and stand behind our Prime Minister. Because along with his cabinet, are trying very hard to secure this country for all Canadians, for my children, for your children. And hard economic times are going to come. And Pierre Poilievre and all these Maple MAGA influencers are going to twist the narrative and point the finger at Mark Carney, trying to divide Canadians while neglecting to point out that the real attack, the real economic attack, is going to be coming from Donald Trump in the United States. As a country, we have to do this because we cannot put our faith in the American people to regain their democracy back. That is their fight and only their fight. Whether they're successful or not, that's entirely going to be up to them. But as a country, as the head of this country, Canada, Mark Carney cannot take that chance. And so he's doing everything he can to prepare us for that time. Because guess what? When Trump is done in the Middle East, where do you think his focus is going to be next? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. You stay deadly.